My name is Gary Butterfield, he, him.
My name is Kay Ross, she, her.
And you're listening to Watch Out for Fireballs. It is a Games Club podcast.
And this week we are talking about Lost Kingdoms, which is an action RPG developed by From Software and published by Activision for the Nintendo GameCube in 2002.
Yeah, and this is a lot of interesting things.
Yeah.
This is our premium episode for the month, which means everybody's going to get these generalities, and then patrons, $5 or higher, is going to get the full episode. This is a Gary pick.
Yeah.
This is my pick for the month, something I've been curious about for a long time. I picked a JRPG of sorts. Weird.
Yeah. Strange.
Strange. And probably the Summer JRPG. The schedule's filling up.
Yeah. It's going to be.
There's just not enough short ones.
Yeah.
Like and that's part of why I picked this. The thing that was very appealing to me about this, we covered this for Outdoor Suffering. I have a general knowledge of From games just from, being a fan of the developer. 6-hour JRPG.
Wild.
Super wild.
Yeah. Wild among being a profoundly strange game, Gary.
Super strange. I never say this about a FromSoft game. I feel like it is kind of, against my values to say it. I wish this was tighter. And it's a weird thing to say. We'll get into it.
Yeah.
It's a really weird game, though. Some kind of cross between like a deck builder and Parasite Eve.
Yeah. Parasite Eve came up for me when I was playing this. God, like when I say strange, like this would not be that out of place, like on Dreamcast or something.
Yes, a huge Dreamcast feel. What's a GameCube game, which is kind of a spiritual successor. We haven't done very many GameCube games.
No.
But it's a weird system. But yeah, it has Dreamcast feel to it. It is weird. It's weird in a way, and also like not entirely derogatory or non-derogatory. Like, there are parts of this game that are very frustrating. There are things I like quite a bit. My big takeaway from this was, why hasn't this been run with?
Yeah.
Why isn't there like a cool indie update of this that makes it kind of perfect? Because it's full of cool ideas.
Absolutely. And, I think that it would take a lot of work, I think, to close up some of the gaps in this design, but it's there. Like, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Like FromSoft laid out something that has not necessarily been, fully exploited or colonized yet. Yeah,
it feels like a new thing. In some ways, in other ways, it's just the same plot that FromSoft likes to do.
Yeah. Boy, if you like fogs,
various fogs. If fog ever comes to a kingdom, FromSoft is just sitting there like rubbing its hands, licking its lips, like, give me that fog.
Yeah, when a king abandons his post, FromSoft will be there.
Yeah, exactly, with a fog machine in tow. In this game, you play as Katya, the princess of a kingdom among many. There are many kingdoms in this land that's been overtaken by a black fog. The black fog annihilates anything in its path. And as the fog comes for your castle, you take up the kingdom's runestone. This is something that gives you the ability to use cards, physical cards you hold, to summon creatures to fight the monsters that come with the fog.
Yes, she is the only person who can do it. A lot of the levels are littered with the bodies of knights who tried and failed, because only the card monsters can deal with this.
Only card monsters can fight card monsters.
Yes.
Yeah. As they say.
Yeah. So she sets out to find her father and go to gather the other runestones before the fog overtakes the continent. From these other kingdoms, these lost kingdoms.
Yes. And you think that this just sounds like a deck builder. It's not a card game.
No.
Though. It's a really strange kind of hybrid.
Yes.
You use the cards and the deck building mechanics, which are all have their weird quirks, which we'll get into, in order to fight JRPG style random battles.
Yes. In the like real time in these kind of constrained arenas. So like I went back and forth on whether or not to call these random, because it does feel like a Parasite Eve thing where they trigger when you walk over certain points.
It's both.
Yeah.
There are triggered ones and then there are random ones.
Mm-hmm. And you kind of fight in like a little chunk of the map you're exploring gets taken into like a psychedelic dream realm, and you fight against these monsters while they kind of move to attack you, but mostly just kind of wander. Yeah,
the AI is a thing in this game in a delightfully bad way, which we'll get into. You're walking around the level, these instance zones. You have an overland map, but when you go into a level, you walk around, say, a town or a cemetery or something, and then when a fight starts, either because it's a triggered moment or because you've randomly done one, monsters pop up.
Yes.
So you're fighting on the overland, like a Chrono Trigger or a Parasite Eve. It is not a thing where the environment matters.
Yeah.
That you're in. This is more of an aesthetic concern than a tactical one. And the AI is not there for tactics anyway.
Yeah.
So good effort. In terms of things I'd want to have tightened up, it would be cool if it mattered where you were fighting.
There was only one place where it mattered, and it was in an optional map.
Yeah.
Which was quite strange. Oftentimes it is just a square bit of land with some trees or something. So like Katya does not do any of the fighting herself. You're just running around. Like this conceptually, if you're trying to think of like how this is presented, it's a little bit like Order of Ecclesia, the DS Castlevania game, where you're kind of, temporarily summoning in these creatures, even for like your melee attacks and stuff.
Yeah, you have different types we'll talk about, but those are your melee attacks. And generally, you're just avoiding monsters.
Yeah.
You're doing those melee attacks. When you don't have melee attacks, if you've done a summon, you're hanging out. And you have no vocabulary during this. You don't have a dodge roll. You don't have anything to do. You just kind of run away from guys in this little square map.
Yeah.
Your deck, which you have, can hold 30 cards. 4 cards are drawn randomly. At any time. You have 4 cards in your hand. They correspond to the face buttons on the controller. Once you use them, like cards can be used, there's a really heavy, almost Shadow Tower-esque resource management.
Oh, God, yeah.
Aspect in this. Once you use a card, it's unavailable for the level. But if it dies, if it goes, you can actually lose the card. They can be used there. So you have to maintain resource management throughout the level.
Yes. Yeah. There are exceptions to when stuff is away. Like there are cards that when you play them, will recover cards that have been spent, and if none of the 4 cards that you have are appropriate for the situation, you have 4 heals and only, full HP, you can discard. That only gets rid of the card for the rest of this battle. It's shuffled back into the deck afterward.
Yeah. So in this world map, in this little instance zone, it's a little bit like an Ecclesia or whatever. You're moving on a bigger map to go into an instance zone. You can still use it later in that zone.
Yes.
You have to be careful though. 30 is way less than you think, and you can go through these very quickly.
Yeah.
The cards have a mana cost. You have this pool of magic gems. These are tied into, again, a thing that's kind of like Shadow Tower feeling to me in terms of a resource curve. You get these up after you damage enemies.
Yes.
So if you attack to get you spend gems to attack, you get gems back. You're kind of balancing this. And if you run out of magic gems, you're not soft locked. You cast from your HP.
Yeah.
Which can be a real problem. You're never just fucked as long as you have cards. You do become fucked when you run out of cards.
Yes. Kind of funnily, you can never kill yourself by casting. So you can run around and cast whatever you want if you're at 1 HP. You just can't get hit.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're in limit break mode.
Yeah. So cards have different types. The symbols will tell you like roughly one of three categories that they're in. A big problem that we can talk about here is the way that what a card does is communicated.
Yes, or not.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, there's a lot that is not communicated, but you want to read the description at the very least to get a sense of what the real effect is going to be. Because if you just throw out like the wizard monster, it's not going to do anything. It just kind of runs around. I got very confused thinking that was going to be an attack. No, it's not an attack.
Yeah. There are ones that will buff you. There are ones that will act as turrets, things like that. And even things down to their range, you do not know until you cast them. This is in tension with their limited resource aspect of them in a way that like is a hostile mechanic in a FromSoft sense. That again feels like it's not quite there.
Yeah.
Like I liked the idea of having to experiment. This is something I'll never say about a card game again. There are too many cards in this.
Yeah.
There are too many different things, and they don't read easily what they are. They're not clear to kind of figure out what they do. You know, at a glance, I found it was hard to like think, oh, this is a good. Like every once in a while, I'd be like, oh, this thing rocks. I'm going to prioritize this thing. Yeah. But I was constantly getting new things to experiment with. And sometimes, you'd be a fucking licorice sailboat, just be nothing. Like, you're just like, okay, this is a guy who does a really low range attack for very little damage. Fuck him.
Yeah.
He was expensive. There's no like correlation, like easy correlation.
Right. So
between these things.
It's not that there are like too many cards by numbers. It's that there are a lot of cards that are effectively duplicates of each other, but just with like vaguely different stats around them.
Yes. Or like very ineffective cards.
Yes. Yeah. It feels like a better designed card game would give each card a little bit more of a role, right? Or at least would be like more intentionally designed.
You had bigger possibility space and stronger demarcations of like what they're going to do. Like rather than the categories that we have, which we'll talk about, like a category, like a support category.
Yeah.
Knowing like, oh, this is a support card, like without having to experiment or read or remember which, little bit of GameCube art that's on your face button, your controller corresponds to what thing you read 20 minutes ago.
One of the most fun things about a deck builder is experimenting to try and find those synergies, to try and find unexpected uses. There are a lot of things in here where I would describe like, oh, they didn't think through like the push and pull of this. Like those are systems that push and pull on each other. The experimentation, the need for experimentation, and the resource management part of it that actually makes kind of both of them inaccessible to you.
It's a pull and pull.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. On top of there not really being synergies, to speak of because of the possibility space of what's happening.
Yeah.
The synergies consist of like, oh, I have a character, I can summon a tree that will buff everything. And then I can summon anything that is under the category of everything and it will get buffed.
Yeah. And not in a way that is appreciably noticeable.
No, not even a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the three types of cards you can get.
Yes. So the cards with a sword mark, these are weapon cards. These will summon a creature to do an attack for you, often melee, although they can also be ranged. There's some very good ones that are ranged. Banshee is very overpowered.
Banshee's really good.
Yeah. And these have multiple uses before the card is spent.
Yes.
And using these, it's very important. These do not interrupt anything. Like the monster just kind of appears over you and then acts in your stead and then goes away.
Yes. These are interesting because if you get multiple ones of these on a draw, you can stack them to kind of do combos. An early thing in the game, an early thing that'll get you through is really prioritizing the lizard man, which is just a sword slash. But if you have you've drawn 4 lizard men, you can go, hit all 4 face buttons in order and attack 4 times in rapid succession. You can start the animation before it finishes, basically. Yeah. That's very useful. For that. Cards that have a little dragon marker are summon cards. They're not summons like the summon, like you summon it into to help you.
It's not a D&D summon. It's a Final Fantasy summon.
It's a Final Fantasy summon. You do an attack. You go away. A little scene plays out. The monster comes in, performs an attack, and probably misses.
Yep.
Because you've done it the first time and you don't know its range. Then the action continues. These are powerful, but the card is used.
Yeah.
Like you use it once, it's gone. And again, you have to experiment to figure out the range and area of effect of these things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like there are delays associated with them as well, in addition to the interruptiveness of them. So like
yes,
enemies will be able to, like it's a downside to some of the more powerful ones is you have to be, very accurate with your anticipation of where an enemy is going to be.
And it cannot be stressed enough that most of the enemies and allies in this game, their primary verb seems to be mosey in circles around the arena. Yeah. This is some lackadaisical combat in a way that's very charming, but it makes that aspect difficult.
Yes.
The final category here are cards marked with a little fountain, which are called independent. These are D&D summons. Mm-hmm. You summon a monster, it kind of moseys around the battlefield and will attack the enemy. It ambles. Some are more aggressive than others, but some of them really do just kind of feel like they're going along to get along. Mm-hmm. They're just kind of hanging out. Yeah. And it's fine because a lot of times the enemies are doing that too. Like they're on the other side of the map, kind of pushing against the border. Like what if my plant thing got close to you? Maybe something will happen.
It is very frustrating because these are on a timer, and if you summon it and then it just kind of wanders away from where the enemy is doing its little roam, then you're just kind of stuck with it there.
Yeah, nothing. And you can kind of sometimes use your character to bait your weapons and the things that are ostensibly trying to kill you to get closer to each other. Yeah, it's real silly though. Like again, the AI is not there. Like bad AI here. These are really effective, especially early on, right? Having these kind of tossing these out. You can have multiples at a time here. And as they get hurt, they also lose life. They lose energy.
Yeah. Yeah. These have a bunch of subtypes in them. It's actually like there should be more types, I guess.
Yes.
Than are indicated than just the 3, because there are some that summon, they're listed in the manual. They're circle cards, and it gives you like a little option. So like this thing will circle around your character, circle around Katya, and do damage whenever they intersect with an enemy.
Yes. We didn't mention this before. In case it's not obvious, though, you don't have an attack.
No.
In this isn't, you're fighting with your things. Your things are fighting. You're hanging out. Mm-hmm. You are a Fey princess. You can only throw cards.
Yes.
So you have those circle cards that give you an orbital. Trap cards leave a monster waiting in ambush. Mm-hmm. So if a monster walks over them, it'll attack them. These tend to be really powerful, especially early on. Power-up cards summon a beast that kind of buffs everybody.
Yes.
As long as it's on the field. Usually they're stationary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And interspersed among all of these are ones that will affect Katya or the deck directly. So like there are healing ones that operate by percentages. And there are ones that I ended up building all my decks around, which recover used and discarded cards.
Yeah. Once you can start regaining cards, it changes the game a lot. Early on, you can soft lock yourself. Not really soft lock because you can go into a pause menu and leave. A level. But if you run out of cards, you can't do anything. And this happened to me a bunch in the early game.
Same.
Like until I started getting these cards that would refresh my rate. The ones that do things directly, like that summon you or heal you rather, are still under the guise of summons.
Yes.
So it's not like a spell. It's like you summon a fairy who heals you.
Yes.
And everything. This is all critters.
So each card has an element, and each enemy has an element because each enemy is possibly a card, right? Like it's all like the same pool of creatures. This is denoted by a symbol on the enemy's health bar. The element of a given card, at least at a glance, is color coded, and it's very low contrast. Even I had trouble discerning like the difference between earth and fire on this. How did that work with you, Gary? Badly. Okay.
The color, there's a couple color puzzles in this as well. This is not a very colorblind friendly game.
No, because everything's real desaturated. I was playing this and I was like, how the fuck is Gary doing this?
Not great.
Yeah.
When you can see, so I just had to look at them closer to always see the symbol and not the color.
Yeah.
And try to look at the elemental symbol or remember it from the codex or whatever. This is kind of like, I've been thinking about this for a while now. I think elemental weaknesses kind of suck.
It's not enough.
If it's your main thing you're doing. Yeah. It's pretty brain dead.
Mm-hmm. Like,
at the time I get it. Like, it was real revolutionary when like Final Fantasy started having, water be weak to lightning as a thing. But if I just have these 4 elements and when you go into a level in this, primarily what type of monster there'll be, like what the element is. You just build your deck to have the things that are good against it.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of the beginning and ending of your strategy.
Yeah.
With that.
No.
It is not something that in the moment I think is particularly deep.
Mm-hmm. I think that like the only way that the only elemental rock, paper, scissors thing that actually like I think works is Pokemon, just because of how complex it is.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of different elements to it.
A lot of different types, a lot of subtypes, like move types and stuff. Yeah.
That and making a team.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not just setting up all your strengths and weaknesses times 6.
Yes.
It kind of works. It still ends up being a thing where when you go to the grass gym, you just know to have fire things.
Yeah.
And you win.
So they have this, but it didn't make that much of a difference. It was not insurmountable if I ended up needing to summon something cross, cross element.
It's not insurmountable, but it helps with the conservation aspect. Like the fact that every time you're using a card, you're possibly using up a finite resource.
Yeah.
You want to get the biggest bang for your buck that you can.
Yes.
All of that stuff together with the running out of cards early on before I figured out and found cards that replenished my deck ended up making the beginning of this game real trial and error-y. And then eventually kind of found my rhythm with it. Which again, very, very Fromsoft, I guess. You find new cards in treasure chest. You get them as random prizes at the end of the level. You're kind of graded at the end of the level, and you get a certain number of picks. Several of these mechanics are built to prey upon the completionist in people. There are cards that you can only get through rare treasure chest at the end of a level. Generally, the boss of that level is one of the cards. And the most picks you can get is 3 of 6.
Right.
So you can get a 50% chance of getting the boss. You can save scum to get around that if you want to. I figured this out through looking at like message boards, and because I like to see what people are talking about.
Yeah.
In a game when we play it, and a lot of people are talking about how to get all the rare cards.
Yeah.
Sucks.
There is a new game there is a new game plus where you can go replay missions during the course of the story. If you miss a boss card, that's it. You're done.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You cannot go back to it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't want you to be, completionist.
Yeah.
It wants you to be a collectivist. It's actually a pretty woke game, but it doesn't want you to be a completionist necessarily. It just, that's what gamers are.
Yeah.
So you do it.
Well, I mean, also like going into a collectible card game, anything with that, like that is going to attract a person who wants to get them all.
That's true.
And it is strange to design it in such a way that you can't.
The way that another aspect of this is capturing enemies. You can sacrifice a card to perform a capture throw on a weakened enemy and grab it. So it's again, this kind of risk reward. Is the card I'm giving up worse than this card that I want to get from it?
Yeah. You can top off your deck at deck points, like within a mission. If you get any new cards, you can, throw them in at these things that also recover your HP, but they don't save. No,
that'd be silly.
That would be very silly to save in the middle of the mission. Yeah.
On an emulator, so I just save whenever I want. But again, they don't want you, because you don't, in this game, we didn't mention this, if you die in the level, you don't die.
Yeah.
You lost your resources, but you get kicked back out onto the main world. And we talk about how you can have 30 cards in your deck. You will have way more than 30 cards.
Oh, yeah.
You can just bring 30 into a level. So these deck points are generally to refill your health and to add card, and you cannot manipulate your deck at any time.
Right.
You can only do it at these deck points or on the map. So you get to one of these deck points and you take all the stuff you found in treasure chest and put it into your deck to use it. It's weird.
Yeah.
And again, they're not checkpoints.
No, which only burned me on the last mission, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Which is a little bit of a slog.
Yeah.
If you run out of cards, you just have to abandon the mission, try again, or reload. Sucks.
Yeah.
And if you want to do full deck configuration down to like having multiple decks, you can have, ones that are specifically good for this element or things that are on a certain theme. You can do that on the world map.
Yeah. So at the end of the battle, like the way you get stronger is in a couple different ways. So Katya will get stronger, like a bigger health and mana pool at certain points in the story as she gets more runestones. I think that is a bummer and a problem. What gets experienced through battling is the cards themselves. And it is not like the specific physical card. It is just like any card of that type ends up gathering all the experience for it.
So like, yeah, you use the lizard man a lot. It does a lot of kills. Like the cards get experience when they get kills. Your lizard man category or column will gain XP. You can then use that to power up your lizard man cards into the second level of lizard man cards. Generally, these are kind of like linear Pokemon evolutions, and sometimes they're not.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like it just evolves into a new thing.
Yeah.
I guess like Pokemon. But generally they are more powerful. Not always because of those differences in animations and everything. Like, for example, I think it's the Death Knight, the first Dragon Knight. Dragon Knight's really strong.
Yep.
It turns into a Death Knight, I think, which is strong, but the animation is intolerable.
Yeah. There's a huge wind-up on it.
It does more damage, but evolving it is actually not that useful through that. This information is just stuff you have to get through fucking figuring it out.
You just have to make the very costly mistake. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
You can also do this to duplicate your cards too. Spend your experience on that if you would like to. Part of that evolution is also just like card conversion. It's like, okay, I already have enough of these ones that do a heal. I want to like step this sideways into one that recovers my deck, right?
Yes,
stuff like that. Yeah.
This is when I talk about there being too many cards. This is part of what I meant with this is that the cards are very inconsistent in quality. Like the kind of difficulty curve of this game is really weird. You know. You will find early on, you'll figure out a strategy that kind of works in most situations. Early on, Lizard Man, eventually the Banshee, with what I did, Banshee plus Dragon Knight, generally. But you're still constantly getting cards, you know, nonstop. Eventually, you just get a base of cards enough to where you just kind of set up your deck with some refills, some strong cards, and a couple heals.
Yeah. And like the refill ones make it so that the downside of the summons, outside of the fact that they interrupt everything and et cetera, but like the downside of the summons, which is you only use them once and they do their damage and they're gone. Well, suddenly I can rely on those a lot more if I am just constantly refreshing the deck.
Yes, I can pull them up. It takes a little while for them to start introducing those cards, but they're very useful.
Yes. So this is a game, it's very short, but also the levels are very short and they are mostly empty.
Yeah, it's like a highlight for this combat and build system.
Yeah.
There's very little to the levels. Their hallways sometimes are just like one big room. It feels like, you know, it's a graveyard, but it's a big U-shaped room with a couple little diverticula. Every once in a while you can go off the beaten path. You know, and find stuff. Something I think is a really cool mechanic in this is that in these worlds that are largely empty, they're destructible environments.
Yeah.
They can only be destroyed in combat. So there will be little secrets. Like you'll see a treasure chest behind a tree or something. You have to trigger combat near there and make you or an enemy do an attack on that tree. So then when combat is over, you can now get to that chest.
Yeah.
I think that's super cool. It's creative and weird. Every once in a while, you'll find cards hidden under things that you don't expect them to be. Like under, you know, sometimes you can see them.
Yeah.
Like it'll be under like a clear, like a piece of crystal or something. You can see a card under there and you have to kind of figure out how to get it.
Yeah.
That's fun.
It's very fun because like in a game with random battles like this, the combat and the combat world and the exploration world never really interact with each other like that.
No, even when they're the same, you know, and that's at least something, right? Like I would have liked more tactical consideration, but there is a little bit of like treasure consideration. Yeah. The other mechanical thing I would say is that there are boss fights that are dual fights.
Yeah.
In one of the cruelest, most Fromsofty things I can think of, the difference between you and your opponent is they get a dodge roll.
Yeah.
which means they knew that it would be useful. But for balance, the princess can't do it.
No, they get a dodge roll and they can kind of see the future.
Yes.
They can dodge in the middle, of summon animations and stuff. It's wild.
Yeah. It's really asymmetric, mirror match shit. It's very funny.
Mm-hmm. And those battles go on for so fucking long.
They're really, really long. They're battles of attrition.
Yeah,
they're tests to see whether you've got a deck that can last.
It's a one-sided battle of attrition because they can just keep summoning. They never have to refresh or anything.
No, they're battling you for attrition.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, they're like minor mechanical bits. There are side quests that will pop up. There's collectibles. You know, we'll talk about those when we run into them in the body of the episode. But that's most of the mechanics. Since there's not much of the levels, the body of this episode will be a lot of like you lost kingdoms your way around the map. We can talk about new monsters that pop up, but there's very little to what you're actually doing.
Yeah.
This is on top of the context of the story. What you're doing is following your dad for a little while and then talking to some rulers to get some rune stones. It is very slight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My understanding is the sequel gets a little bit more, they run with it a little bit more.
Yeah, a lot more. And the plot here, once it actually kicks in, is kind of neat. Mm-hmm. You know, like the ending of this stuff, the things it's dealing with are kind of cool.
Yeah.
There are still very evocative Fromsoft-esque ideas.
Yes. There's a cool little twist in it. Specifically with the person who seems like they're going to be the big bad and your rival through this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the actual rival who is interesting. Mm-hmm. But that's most of the mechanics.
Yeah. Moving on to the aesthetics, this looks like a game from its era, and it looks like a FromSoft game from this era, kind of down to the three colors and stuff.
Yeah.
This is a pretty atmospheric game, and the monster designs kind of do vary in quality, but they're generally fine.
Yeah, generally fine. Some are actually good. Mm-hmm. I would say I wish it was less washed out in the monster designs and the cards. Like having the worlds look washed out, you know, the environments looks good. The general kind of everything being a little blurry and washed out, you know, for visual readability is not great.
Yeah.
The soundtrack, like I kind of really dig the soundtrack to this.
Okay.
It's fucking weird though. You're right that it's weird. I just like it.
So like I might just be like latching on to a couple to specific tracks, but they're the tracks that you hear the most often where it's like it feels like it uses like a partial guitar sample or something like that.
Yeah.
And like the actual like melody loop is like so short as to feel a little bit, I'm going to use a word here, imbecilic.
Experimental is the nice way I would say it.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like that was intentional, even though the ultimate effect was like he got surprised and had to ship it in the middle of the soundtrack.
Yeah.
You know? The composer for this, Kota Hoshino, this is the person who composed for Shadow Tower. That game has almost no music.
Yeah.
I could say I was the composer for Shadow Tower.
Nobody could prove you're wrong. Yeah. And something that is fun about talking about a FromSoft game and a lot of Japanese studios in general, like somebody who worked on this game 23 years ago, still with the company, going kind of back and forth between being a composer and being a sound designer. But like they were the lead sound designer and one of the composers on Armored Core 6, right?
Yeah. Recent work.
Yeah.
Yeah. The story and writing in this it's interesting. It's not super strong. It's weirdly wordier than I might expect.
Yeah.
Like large sections without words, but NPCs do have a couple paragraphs to say. And it's generally fine. Like it doesn't, you know, make you cringe out of your body with awkward phrasing and stuff. Like it's pretty evocative and good. Some of that stuff. And eventually it does have this kind of twist that happens early on. It feels very standard.
Yeah.
And it is bleak. Like we talk about all the dead soldiers who couldn't make it through that. Like you very rarely just talk to another living person who's doing okay.
Right.
The world is fucked. You know, we have a little bit of that FromSoft after the end feeling, even though this is not technically after the end.
Right. It is during the end.
Yes.
Like a lot of games from the time period, but especially Japanese games, there's not a lot of production detail about this. There is an interview that the producer did with RPGamer.com near the launch, but there's little of note in it. It's kind of like trying to interview the Sphinx.
I read that as well. And it just, FromSoft gives, cryptic interviews, and this is even before they were big.
Yeah.
So even more so. This in Japan, this game is called Rune.
Yeah.
Worst name, I would say.
Yeah.
That doesn't tell you anything.
Also was already the name of a PC game by the time this came out.
Oh, feels like it's already the name of like 20 PC games.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Like that's just the PCS game, game name. This came out during this production period for FromSoft's history that's really strange.
Yeah.
Right around the launch of the PS2 and GameCube and Xbox. Is very prolific. They did 11 games between 2000 and 2002.
Ridiculous.
It's fucking nuts. 4 games a year. Sure. Makes sense.
Why not? Across a bunch of different systems, it's primarily PS2. Like this is the period in we got Kingsfield 4, right?
Yes.
But also they kind of wanted to try things out on different systems. So like this is also when we got like Otogi on the original Xbox. Yeah.
Bonfire's Side Chat alum.
Worse game than this.
Yeah, I would say so. Like definitely less interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, no, and this is like the time period where like From was also just we'll make a game and then the next year the sequel's going to come out.
Yes.
Wild, at which that existed. So the producer on this, Atsushi Taniguchi, joined FromSoft as a 3D modeler and worked on Armored Core and Shadow Tower before moving into production and leading the adventures of Cookie and Cream, which whenever I see that in From's gamography, I always smile and laugh.
Yeah, it's cute. I don't really know it very well, but the main designer, Takashi Kojo, was part of the design team for The Ancient City before working on this game. So good. Good pedigree there. Neither of them stayed with the company for much longer, though, after working on the 2 Lost Kingdoms games, this and its sequel.
Yeah.
This came out during a time where collectible card games were still huge. This was the post-Pokemon surge, not necessarily just the Pokemon card game, but Pokemon in general and how that kind of like influenced it. Late 90s into early 2000s. Yeah. Pokemon and collecting things was crazy. Across all mediums.
Yeah, it was shading into the Yu-Gi-Oh era, but there was a lot of like calling it fast follow probably is wrong, but there's a lot of people trying to jump on and play around in the space. And FromSoft, like genuinely, like that interview, they very specifically tried to make something unique with this. Everything else in cards was turn-based because that's what card games are. But with this, taking the deck building and, management element of it and putting on top of an action RPG, they kind of knew, they knew that this was not a thing that was done and knew it was difficult.
Yeah. Which is neat. The Chad ambitious Lost Kingdoms to the Virgin Bite and Kaidos. Yeah. On the GameCube. Like you get your choice there. So this came out around the GameCube's launch as notable because on release, the GameCube had no RPGs. This is a classic thing. From when you don't have RPGs on your console launch, FromSoft will be there. Yeah. If you don't want to play Summoner, you can play Eternal Ring.
If the bouncer is not enough for you, here comes Evergrace. Yeah.
Exactly. Evergrace is there to hold you when there's only one set of footsteps. And the GameCube, this go on to be a Nintendo's second console with this absolute dearth of games in the genre. Nintendo 64, not very, Quest 64 stand up, I guess, but not a good system for RPGs. GameCube, better, but not great.
Yeah. It was a while, like Thousand Year Door, I think was like a 2004 game or something like that. Yeah.
And then there's that Bite and Kaidos. There's a couple things you'll get on there, but it wasn't huge.
Baroque. Yeah.
A lot of weirdos.
Yeah. That remake of Skies of Arcadia. Yeah.
Ugh. Ugh. Taking off headphones in disgust. Reaction image. No thanks.
Good. None for me. This did well enough that it got a sequel in 2003, Lost Kingdoms 2. Takes place long after the first game. Like your main character here is like a queen of legends, and that features more cards and a lot of gameplay and balance refinements.
A lot of story as well. If you look at it, it's got a lot more like straight up like anime cutscenes. Characters are voiced. in it. It loses some of that Fromsoft distance. Of having a character just do a chuckle.wave and then have their dialogue show up in a box.
Yeah.
You lose a little bit of that.
You also lose something by having a main character named Tara Grimface.
Yeah, Grimface or Grimface.
Okay, Grimface.
Have you considered Grimface?
Yeah, I didn't mean to erase her heritage.
Yeah, come on. And that's basically it for this. I haven't played the second one. I'm kind of curious. Do I recommend this? Like, as we get near the end of the section, kinda. It's really interesting, and it's 6 hours.
Yeah,
like it's not asking very much. And if you like kind of seeing a weird evolutionary dead end, one that feels like it shouldn't be a dead end, like it feels like this could have made a subgenre.
Yeah.
There's something here.
So like weirdly with how experimental this is and with how varied From's output was in that era, I feel a little bit like with with Night Rain and with the Duskbloods or whatever it's called coming out. Like we're kind of getting a little bit of that again. Granted, those are both going to be action RPGs, vaguely in the Souls kind of remit, but
those are in the same engine.
Yeah. But I just wanted to say, like, From for a while has not been super experimental, right?
No.
Yeah.
It kind of for better and for worse, right? Like neither of us are big Night Rain boosters. I think we're both skeptical about the Duskbloods. I kind of yearn a little bit for this non-half measure experimental era. Like those are games where there's going to be something with the skeleton of the Taurus demon in it. Like it can't be that experimental because the Taurus demon will be there.
Yeah.
It features the creep. Then being like absolutely bonkers new engine. Like even, Armored Core 6, my understanding is it doesn't control that differently than a Souls game. Like the bosses do the same thing. Like if they're going to be experimental, I'd rather have them be experimental from the ground up than just in terms of multiplayer mechanics or whatever.
Yeah. Just this is like a different interaction model. Yeah.
Yes. Completely different genre, interaction model, different scale and everything. Like it's neat.
Yeah.
So if you like this kind of thing, if you like card games and if you like Fromsoft, I think it's worth checking out. Yeah. If you're hearing this, thank you for listening. We appreciate you. If you'd want to hear the rest of the episode and all of our premium episodes, go to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv and give us $5 a month. It's $1.25 a week. It's way less than a cup of coffee now. That's like a thing in old commercials. Coffee got fucking expensive.
It did.
For the price of a cup of McDonald's coffee, a small McDonald's coffee, you can, once a week, you can get nigh infinite content.
Yeah, a lot. We're coming up pretty close on, eventually here we're going to be at 100 full premium episodes. Like those don't fall off of the $5 tier. Like you just get them. It's only getting more valuable.
Yeah, you get like 200 old abject sufferings. You get Unfilmable, which is a really fun show where you can look at horror media. Real Lich Hours, which is our close-up on CRPGs that we're doing season by season. That's a lot of fun. And then the Bonfire Side Chat archives, that would, since those have been on the Patreon, if you're a FromSoft fan.
Yeah. Plenty there.
Lots of value.
Yeah. Otherwise, please leave ratings or reviews wherever you can. And tell your friends. The only way that we grow is through word of mouth.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We don't advertise. Join us in thanking our producer, Gwen. Big thanks to Gwen.
Thank you, Gwen.
And we will see you next week with The Dispatch.
Bye.